So today we'll be getting into some stories with Edge canceling AEW's plans, Roman Reigns, and trouble with some of the recent big WWE returns. For today's question of the day, do you think it was the right move for Smackdown to get both Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar? So let's get into this story because it was something fans were talking about and something that's now appearing on some reports. And that's the news of USA Network being frustrated about losing all their big stars to Fox Network and Smackdown. It's not that hard to notice that WWE treats Smackdown as their #1 show, and Raw sort of feels like an afterthought at times. And if you're USA Network, you're going to feel some type of way because things haven't really been cut down the middle with Smackdown. USA Network has been getting the shorter end of the stick. They did, of course, have Goldberg for a few weeks on their network, but SmackDown had John Cena all summer, and now Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar. So it is a bit lopsided, not to mention all the other big stars SmackDown already has, like Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, and more. So the roster really isn't equally split amongst the brands from a talent perspective right now. It's quite obvious to see that SmackDown is extremely more stacked than Raw. From top to bottom, SmackDown is just more loaded and has way more depth than Raw. And when it comes to Brock Lesnar and Becky Lynch, those two belong to Raw and USA Network before they both left in 2020. But they both return and Fox doesn't get just one, they get both of them. So you put yourself in USA Network's shoes, you're going to be a bit heated and asking WWE, you couldn't have just given us one of those returns? And even as a fan, you sort of wish that the talent was all equally divided because that results in both WWE shows getting great, rather than what we have right now, where it feels like SmackDown is a loaded powerhouse show, but Raw is full of filler at times. So it is a bit of a problem, especially for Raw and the USA Network side of things. Fox obviously has no complaints for WWE. They beat Raw in ratings. They get all the big returns. They have Roman Reigns. They're sitting pretty. But it'll be interesting to see if WWE does ever compensate USA Network for what's been happening lately with SmackDown having everyone. The WWE draft is rumored to take place sometime this fall. So maybe that's the soonest opportunity where WWE can make things right with the USA Network and equally divide the talent again. Because things between Raw and SmackDown are very one-sided right now, especially with Brock and Becky's return. There's been a lot of talk about Roman Reigns' character and direction after Summerslam. It's been reported for a few months now that WWE does have plans to eventually turn Roman Reigns babyface again and get back to their original plan of having him be the biggest babyface in WWE. So with that in mind, everyone figured that Brock vs. Roman would be a picture-perfect opportunity for that big Roman Reigns face turn. Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns, aligns himself back with Brock Lesnar, causing Roman to now look like a sympathetic figure, since one of his own people turned on him for the enemy. It puts Brock Lesnar and Heyman right back into their heel duo role, and Roman could probably start to morph out of the tribal chief persona and come back down to a babyface route. That's one of the rumored fan directions out there for Brock vs. Roman, but according to a new report, this is completely off the table for now. The report claims that there's no immediate plans to mess with Roman's character and change it right now for the Brock Lesnar story. So the way things look right now is allegedly the way that it will stay. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are the heels. Brock Lesnar is returning babyface challenger. And even though Brock Lesnar really hasn't been in a babyface role since 2015, circumstances with the Roman story just instantly make Brock Lesnar look like the biggest babyface. Roman Reigns is like this tyrant ruler that's in control of WWE, and Brock Lesnar is like the people's best opportunity to overthrow Roman Reigns as the leader, as the champion. That's why Brock Lesnar is just naturally received here as the babyface challenger. He may be the last hope as a credible challenger that could really knock Roman off the top. It's easy to believe in Brock Lesnar to get the job done. So if everything remains untouched and it's a heel Roman versus face Brock, then things will still work out. But if WWE does have a big last-second swerve up their sleeve to flip the roles between Brock and Roman, then it could work too. But we'll have to see exactly how that story plays out. Edge recently had a great few tributes to the Brood that he made over the last few WWE appearances. The Brood was a faction that really put Edge on the map in WWE way back during his early days with the company. Edge was joined by Christian and Gangrel in that group, and the three of them played these really dark and sadistic characters back then. Of course, Edge and Christian would later evolve and leave those previous versions of their characters behind. But decades later, Edge revisited that early version of his character. Edge teased that he had to dig deep to places within himself that he hasn't visited in years to beat Seth Rollins. What Edge was referring to was the Brood version of his character. Edge had a Brood moment on Smackdown with Seth Rollins and even walked out with a Brood-themed entrance at Summerslam. So it was great to see Edge pay tribute to his old former self and character. But Brood member Gangrel recently revealed that Edge's recent Brood mentions and tributes have ruined plans that he had in place with AEW. Gangrel had this to say during his podcast. "I was supposed to be on a plane to Milwaukee Monday. I get a return phone call from AEW saying, 'Oh man, we're so sorry. We're going in a different direction because WWE media stuff.' That entrance, everything Edge did was great. The reason why I wasn't so excited about it is because I knew I was offered another great opportunity and the timing sucked." Gangrel even talked about his conversation with Edge on how the plans got cancelled. "I go, yeah, it kinda cost me." "What do you mean, buddy?" "The other company over there, AEW, they were getting ready to do a thing. I was getting ready to do my entrance again, not Edge, me." I didn't tell him that. He got so quiet for what felt like an eternity. He goes, "Man, I'm so sorry. If you had told me, I didn't know. I just got booked." It felt like he was gonna cry. I did tell him how pumped I was. He was doing the entrance. He felt so bad. He sent me pictures of his daughter with the jacket. I was like, "It's cool, man. It was awesome. I love seeing you do that." So everything that happened with Edge and WWE and all the Brood tributes and mentions is what eventually led AEW to cancel their plans for Gangrel's debut. Telling by Gangrel's comments about speaking it all over with Edge, it sounded like Edge didn't have the slightest clue that was happening over at AEW and instantly felt sorry about it. But Gangrel doesn't seem to be holding a grudge at all. He obviously loves seeing Edge make the Brood entrance that he hasn't made in several decades. Edge did pick up that big win over Seth Rollins, so we'll see where that leads Edge to next. Obviously, the Universal title picture seems to be occupied with Brock Lesnar's WWE return, so Edge can immediately jump back into the title scene. But maybe his win over Seth Rollins does lead him into a new story. We'll have to wait and see on that. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.